was like, okay, this is not the Australian dream we were looking for, you know.
Cool.
We need to find jobs, and most of my friends were literally just doing Uber Eats on a like e-bikes we rented. Because he posted like he's looking for DJs for the event, and I just sent him a text, and I believe there was some even water leak on the circuit, and we just pretty much fried the whole top floor.
Oh no. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Behind the Tune, episode number 3. I'm your host Nikita, and joining me today is a DJ from Sydney by the name of Patrik, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yes, and but better known for his stage name as Papco or Papco.
Or Papco or
Papco.
Yeah,
Okay.
One of those two is fine.
He's a local DJ from Sydney who actually only has been in Australia for about 3 years. DJ'd over in Europe, started over in Europe, and now he's obviously come in Sydney, and he seems to be making some wave in the underground sort of melodic techno scene, correct?
Yeah, melodic and driving techno.
Melodic techno, yep. I've obviously seen a bit of your work and obviously seen some of your sets on Instagram and stuff, and I can say I'm a pretty big fan of your music.
Appreciate that.
Obviously, I've just introduced you. You were in Europe, or you grew up in Europe, came to Sydney in 2020, you were telling me?
Yeah, so first of all, thank you for having me on the show. It's an honor to be here to talk about, a little bit of my story. So, I started off in Europe because I'm originally from Slovakia, and I just got to Sydney in 2020. So right before all the COVID craziness that started happening. And I started DJing 2019, just started pretty much as, I think most of the DJ stories just wanted to test it out, wanted to try it out, always kind of like were interested in going to parties, looking at the DJs and like, like this seems fun, and making people dance, let me try it at home. And that's how I pretty much got into it. Yeah,
very interesting. So did you sort of get into it, I guess, from a young age, or was it sort of...
No, actually kind of started late. So 2019, I was pretty much 4 years ago. So I was like 25, 26 years old.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
started pretty... Okay. So were you sort of into sort of any techno or EDM growing up, or was it sort of just like a light bulb, like a sort of like a thing that sort of switched you straight to techno?
Yeah, like... Even if we go even more back, I was always kind of like connected with music. I was studying piano as a kid.
Okay.
Going to musical school for like 8 years, and music was always something that was like fascinating me, and something really that was like really important in my life. And I started, I went through all the genres, like listening to rock, metal, or just pretty much anything, and then I got into electronic music when I was like 18 years old, maybe. But into techno, I only got to when I was, I don't know, like 24, pretty much.
Okay.
When I did a half a year abroad in Netherlands.
Right.
So that's, like where all the techno is happening. And, a couple of friends just showed me that, just go to these parties. I was always, the main stage kind of guy, listening to like Hardwell and... just pretty much like future and EDM, these kind of genres.
Yeah.
And then I experienced like the real meaning of raves and how actually the parties look down there. And, I was hooked since.
Yeah. No, it's actually really interesting that you sort of, it's because a lot of people you talk to, they sort of grew up listening to EDM and techno and they sort of transitioned to whatever. But you've got an interesting story where it's a bit later happens in life. But obviously, as you said, music played an important role. How do you reckon your, I guess, upbringing with music and the importance of it sort of shaped your sound and what you produce today? Or like not produce, but I guess what you play today and,
Yeah, maybe it gave me the sense of understanding the beat, the melodies, just the overall musical hearing. So just the overall feel of music, you're just not listening to, but you're actually like feeling what's happening. You respect the phrasing and everything, and you can tell, okay, this is like a major chord, this is a minor melody probably, and these kind of things.
No, it's actually, I think that's interesting as well that you sort of had that background in music, so you have to, the theoretical aspect of it.
Yeah, but it's been ages ago, I haven't been playing piano for forever, but some of the things you just don't forget,
Yeah, no, of course. And I guess going back to where you went to Amsterdam, how did that sort of shape you and sort of like was anything that in particular happened while you were in Amsterdam that, clicked, or was it sort of like while you were there, it sort of progressively expanded your, I guess, mind?
Yeah, like I studied at the uni there for 6 months in Groningen actually. So that's a town like 2 hours north even. It's like a student town. And majority of the events that are happening there in clubs, it's all techno. It's all like raw, hypnotic, like really underground stuff.
Yeah.
And on the other side you have like the clubbing, so R&B stuff, and there's like nothing really happening in between. At least that was my experience. So you can go unless like go really hard or go to like major clubs in the city.
Yeah. And
it was just a different feeling and a whole different experience, comparing to EDM parties when you have just there's lots of like vocal singing, breakdowns, and just the whole experience of the party and dance is different. Techno kind of gets you from the beginning, and you can just be in your world, just enjoying and just dancing, vibing.
Yeah,
it's not like up and down really. You just you're
just
like
consistent.
Straight there.
Yeah, no, that's right. Did you go into any festivals in particular or any sort of big events? Because obviously, as you said, Amsterdam is sort of the home.
Yeah, I've been to Amsterdam a couple of times, but it wasn't anything huge in particular. I went to one show which was called Don't Let Daddy Know, and but it was more EDM stuff. It wasn't really a techno event.
Okay.
So when it comes to techno, I was just going to those small clubs in Groningen pretty much.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, and what were you studying, if you don't mind me asking?
I was studying there business economics.
Oh, business economics.
Side,
and now you're... Yeah, that's interesting. I feel like, a lot of people sort of... The ones that get into techno aren't really studying any music. It's sort of like the business.
Yeah.
And they sort of, find it. I find that interesting. And then sort of, how did you... Obviously, you were in Amsterdam for what, your final year of uni? Or were you there in the middle of it?
It was in my fourth year. So, the second last year. And then I got back home and finished my master's pretty much in Slovakia.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. And then what, you sort of worked there for a little bit and then...
Yeah, I worked at home for, let's say 2 years after. And then I was looking for a change, wanted to travel more again, and was kind of missing the experience of new countries. So just packed my stuff and flew to Sydney. It was easier for me because I got a bunch of friends already here.
Oh, okay.
And a couple of friends were traveling with me as well. So it wasn't like a really that hard transition.
Yeah, okay. And obviously you were telling me a bit earlier before we started recording that you came to Sydney right on lockdown basically, or before or just a bit after it.
Probably the border shut down literally like 2 weeks after we got in here.
Oh god, that would have been tough. I'd imagine, because everyone felt that. But you said that you were DJing already in Slovakia, or in?
Yeah, I had like 2-3 gigs back home.
Okay.
Since I was at home, for a year maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So of course you have the period when you literally like need to learn what actually you're doing. And then I had a couple of friends that were throwing gigs and helped me out to do like a support, performance. So, to get the experience in front of people as well.
Yeah, and were you always doing like, melodic techno, or were you sort of experimenting at that point and sort of found your sound as you... Yeah,
I was experimenting with like tech house, I would say, in the beginning, and techno,
And techno, okay.
So I got into like more melodic stuff later on, but if I need to define like what I prefer to play, is more the driving techno, like a little bit faster but not too crazy hard. But also I also like the earlier hours when I can play like more melodic techno stuff.
No, that makes sense. And when you came to Sydney, did you sort of keep going with that did you sort of discover that sort of sound while you're in Sydney or while you're back in Slovakia?
Probably back in Slovakia.
Yeah.
Still, yeah.
And then you sort of progressed it as you came to Sydney, you sort of worked on it.
Yeah.
And obviously found your sound. I guess talk me through, being in Sydney during lockdown. And I'm assuming you weren't, well, obviously I want to ask, were you planning to sort of come to Sydney to be a DJ, or were you just coming to Sydney just for the whole travel and living aspect of it?
Well, it was definitely a plan to get in here, find some kind of job that would just, support the day-to-day, but really be focused on the music and the DJing, because I really wanted to grow in that area.
Yeah.
But, with the lockdowns, all all of these dreams were pretty much shattered, and like
yeah, no.
Everyone just went to a survival mode, and especially for us who have like no help in here whatsoever, and just trying to get any job you can. And obviously the only parties that were happening were the bush parties or some kind of boat parties as well.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember boat parties were sort of a big thing.
Yeah,
but after that lockdown, how did that sort of how were you feeling in that sort of period of time? Obviously, you just came to a new country. You've obviously come with a goal to sort of start producing music, and then all of a sudden everything sort of just gets cut off like that. Sort of talk me through how you felt. What got you through that as well? Because obviously now, you've got a name in that underground sort of techno scene, and you're playing at major gigs and stuff like that. So, just talk me through, or how were you during that time?
Yeah, like it was tough, super tough. We all had some savings from back home that we needed to help us start it here, because obviously in Slovakia we don't earn as much money compared like numbers wise. I mean, if you have a decent job, you make a decent living, but it supports you in Slovakia. Obviously Sydney is a super expensive city.
Yeah, of course.
And you need to pay a huge bond when you move in. The rent is huge. And we were immediately like, okay, we need to find jobs. And most of my friends were literally just doing Uber Eats on a like e-bikes we rented, because no one was hiring at that stage. And we kind of thought to ourselves like, okay, this is not the Australian dream we were looking for,
Of course,
so,
not really.
What are we gonna do? Like, we just had to wait, when after a while everyone got better jobs, and because we all have universities from back home, we all have experience from back home, so you just need to prove yourself and find the right employer who will give you a chance. And we're just always, all of us are just trying to the hustle the way.
Yeah, no, of course. And were you sort of working on your music during that lockdown period as well?
Yeah, like I had a console that I pretty much shipped from Slovakia.
Okay, awesome.
Because I was thinking, how am I going to get the equipment in here? Should I sell it back home and buy it again here? But I found a way that I could just ship it for like $200.
Yeah, okay. Probably would be cheaper in the long term.
Yeah.
Turned out to be cheaper.
And I was just recording, I have a bunch of sets on SoundCloud. I do these podcasts for the love of house and for the love of techno.
Yeah, awesome.
So I have maybe like 20 of those online on my SoundCloud. So I was just, recording those and just waiting when everything opens, because I was a little bit demotivated. I didn't know, like, okay, who am I going to reach out to about gigs? Because, nothing's really happening around. So
you sort of recorded your sets during, like, obviously during COVID, and then you sort of released them during that lockdown period?
Yeah, like I don't do it that that often.
Yeah.
But from time to time, when I have like, okay, I have enough music, I could put it together and just put it on my SoundCloud.
Yeah.
So just kind of doing that, and pretty much just playing at home, and when we had some events or two friends plays, I was always the one who had the console and who was a DJ. So
yeah.
Even it's still pretty much like that, everywhere you go, if it's like a friend's birthday, you're going to some beach house or something, like I bring the equipment and so we can have some fun.
Yeah. Okay. So that obviously sounds like it was a very tough period, but
yeah,
I mean, you've made it out, and I sort of want to go into sort of what happened after that lockdown, how you sort of contact people to get gigs, or did someone contact you, and sort of how you've sort of risen from, being during that lockdown, being so demotivated to now,
Yeah. So the first gig I got here was actually a funny thing when I was listening to your first podcast with Fortune, because he was telling pretty much the same story with James Drobitsky from Ripples.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So he was throwing these boat parties to start with, and I think he posted like he's looking for DJs for the event, and I just sent him a text. Look, like I play techno, maybe you can give me a chance. And he listened to a couple of my mixes that I have. We met for a beer, had a chat, and I was playing on the Mardi Gras boat.
Oh, wow.
Which was, I think, just 1 year after I got to Australia.
Oh, okay, that's awesome. That would have been a big event, was it?
Yeah, that was hard to say. Like it's a boat, so maybe, I don't know, it was like 200 people there.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
I had a closing set because I was playing techno.
Yeah.
And,
what time was that set?
It was at the end of the night, so I don't know, from I don't know how long these boat parties went for. So it was like, what, 3 to 4 a.m.?
Yeah.
Something like that.
No, that would have been awesome. And you sort of, after that, you kept going with Ripples, or you sort of started to branch out into different events and started contacting other promoters and organisers?
What that definitely gave me at least something that I can say, okay, I played here, you know, and I finally had that first breakthrough in Sydney, something public. And then I just keep playing on those house parties everywhere I could go, everywhere where I could plug in my USB, I would do that and, you know, just play around. And one day, pretty much, you know, at the house party, I don't know, it was a couple times when I met with David from Black and White.
Right, yeah.
And he was kind of like, I don't know, like we met on a party somewhere, and he heard me play a couple times, like after parties back at home or something, and like he really enjoyed my sound and the way I play. So one day he introduced me to Dave Morales, who's pretty much started Black and White, and Dave gave me a chance to play on his gigs. And, I've played, you know, I've been playing for Black and White pretty much for almost a year now.
Okay, awesome.
And yeah, just recently became part of the team and resident as well.
Yeah, I was actually just about to mention that you're now a resident of Black and White. So is that what is that sort of? Obviously, I don't have a full understanding of what a resident would mean, but sort of what does that give you?
Yeah, pretty much what it means that on any event that we will throw, I will be playing there.
Okay. And it's like a locked-in contract sort of thing.
Yeah,
but not locked in.
Yeah. But you know, it's I joined the team as well, so it's pretty much me, Dave Morales, and David Lopez, and we're all throwing the parties together. You know, it's all teamwork now, pretty much.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Okay. I didn't realize that you were part of the actual team that throws the events. That's cool. It's cool to sort of see your, as I said, that sort of progress that you've made from coming here, with it being so dull, and now to you sort of being a resident of an organizer and organizing these parties. I think is super inspiring. I think obviously I'm sure many people probably felt that. DJs probably felt that as well during lockdown, during COVID, which I think a lot of DJs sort of came out of lockdown. I think I was telling Jordan that on the first episode. A lot of DJs came out of lockdown because I think it just sort of given they had not much to do, so they sort of, you know, perfected their craft, and now we've got this massive scene now of just DJs that came out of lockdown and super talented. Yeah, I think you're a testament to that as well. So I just want to say, it's awesome that you sort of picked yourself up and you know got out of that, because I imagine it'd be super tough. Is there any like sort of moment during that time where you sort of remember, or like any fond moment you remember during your last, I guess, what, 3 years in Sydney?
Like a memorable gig or something, or
just a memory, like anything you sort of remember that you sort of look back on and think that was like something that you're going to cherish, especially with your time in Sydney.
Yeah, I would say definitely would be very recent. What happened last month when we as a Black and White celebrated the first anniversary.
Yeah, okay.
And we had the rooftop party at the cruise bar.
Right.
So that was a huge event for us. A beautiful venue, you know, right in front of the Opera House, and that melodic set that I played for an hour and a half, you know, in front of pretty much, you know, in one of the best views in the whole world. So that was like really special. When I was playing it, I realized like, man, you know, like this is amazing, you know.
Yeah.
So
it would have been awesome, especially from what you came from and stuff like that. So
exactly.
Yeah. No, I'd imagine that would be awesome. Is there any difference? Because obviously you only said you did a few gigs in Slovakia.
Yeah.
Do you have enough to sort of go off what the differences between Sydney and then obviously back home?
Not really from the DJing point of view.
Yeah.
As for the partying point of view, because obviously there's a huge difference between the scene that we have back in Slovakia and you could even say like Europe in general. So it doesn't really matter if you go to like Slovakia, Czech Republic, Germany, Netherlands, you know, the crowd is very similar. And like Sydney is very different, you know. So that's what we are always commenting as we in Black and White, because Dave is from Spain. He has some experience from Ibiza, and David Lopez is from Colombia. So always, you know, we have this experience from all over the world, and we all seen parties everywhere else, and we're just trying to bring that vibe a little bit into Sydney.
Yeah.
So even with comparison with Melbourne, I went to Melbourne, you know, a couple times in the last years, and even the party scene there, you know, like it's little bit, you know, a step ahead.
Yeah.
Compared
I've
to
heard.
Sydney. So
no, I think it's good though, because obviously you said you and the other two have, I guess, international experience. I think it's good to bring to Sydney as well, because obviously I feel like Sydney, as you said, is a bit behind in the scene, and I think that's good that you guys sort of have that international experience of what a real scene looks like.
Yeah.
Obviously Ibiza is Ibiza, and then obviously you have the European experience, and I'm not exactly aware of what it is like in South America, but have you heard?
Never been there.
Have you heard anything about what it is in South America? What it's like in South America?
It's even more crazier, you know.
Oh, really? Yeah, I would. Yeah, you know, seeing. Oh, actually, I guess there are. You see videos online, but I guess we never really. You sort of see Europe, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So that's good. I guess sort of wanted to see how have you been able to bring your experience to Black and White, sort of your DJing experience. Obviously, you just said that you guys have a bit of an international background between the three of you. How have you been able to bring your experience, and what do you sort of, without giving too much information, what do you sort of plan on doing to sort of, you know, make Black and White more a lot better, and then obviously upping the scene in Sydney?
Yeah. So all the inspiration comes from the partying experience back home in Slovakia, because I think we have an amazing techno scene back home. There are guys that are just doing it, you know, really, really good job. And even though we're a small country, only 5 million people, but you can go to any town and, you know, like when that brand or that crew, you know, brings the party there, it has a huge following, and, you know, it can sell out events, and the music is great, the sound is great, you know, and it's just like really, really well managed and organized. And me going to those events, I was always kind of like admiring the DJs, you know, like really good song selection, really good management, you know, and also the progression of the tempo throughout the night. Like, you know, you have the warm-ups that are slower, you know, you have the headliners, then, you know, it goes crazy fast in the end, and just everything really on point and really well managed. And I was always admiring the guys back home, like, you know, that would be cool to be like them, you know, one day, just really doing the craft really well. And I'm always kind of trying to represent, you know, what we have back home. And so, you know, so the guys back home can be like, okay, you know, like this is, you know, this is one of us, you know, this guy, and this is what we do back home, and we really like it.
No, that's fascinating. I think, I guess, sort of touching on who are your inspirations, I guess. Because obviously you said your sounds evolved from tech house to now being that melodic driven house and techno. So like, sort of who inspired you? Do you have any like certain names, or was it sort of like
like the DJs that I like the most and follow is pretty much all the Drum Code label.
Okay.
You know, I love Bart Skills, you know, I've seen him here in Sydney as well.
Right.
You know, with Adam Bayer, you have Leighton Jordani, or, you know, these guys. And from the melodic side, of course, you know, you have Tale of Us or Cassian.
Yeah, no, of course,
Yeah,
no, that's awesome. So I think that's good that... What out from the tech house, from obviously your early inspirations? Did you have anyone back then?
From tech house, nothing really comes to my mind, you know, like I enjoyed... in Hungary, there's this festival called Balaton Sound.
Right.
On the lake, pretty much. It's every summer.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know Elro. It's kind of this brand. I don't know. I haven't heard anything from them for a while now. I don't know if they still exist.
Yeah.
I don't want to say anything, 'cause I don't really know, because I don't follow that anymore. Yeah. But they were doing like really good tech house events, like vibrant colors on stage, and so that was really fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, the tech house didn't really like stick with me. It wasn't really something that I really you know, identified with. So I just moved to, you know, what my heart was saying, and that was, you know, the techno. And
I was gonna ask what sort of made you move from tech house to, obviously they're two very different sounds, but sort of similar at the same time. But sort of what made you move from tech house to sort of now that, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. How does anyone really pick a genre? Like, you know, you just like it more, and like if this is the genre that I like listen to the most, you know, like I want to play it as well.
Yeah.
So that's how account just, you know, transformed into that.
Do you see yourself exploring different sort of genres in the future, or do you think you're sort of you're true to what you are right now?
Well, I'm pretty happy with, you know, what I'm doing right now, and I can't really tell that I won't be focused on more, you know, like hard techno in the future, or I'll just stick with, I don't know, I'll just focus only on melodic techno only. Like, you don't really know, you know, like we evolve, and
of course.
you don't really know what's gonna happen in a couple of years, but I'm not really, you know, planning to move from it in any foreseeable future.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah, just work on it, and then in the future, if something happens, it happens at the end of the day. Sort of on that note, then, where do you sort of see yourself? Because you've had a pretty hectic 3 years.
Yeah.
Where do you sort of see yourself within the next 3 years?
Next 3 years, because for us, it's all the first of all, we all have only temporary visa.
Oh, okay.
So we're all trying to get on that permanent residency, and so the work is still the main focus. But I have a sponsorship with my company that I work for right now, so I'm on a good path.
Okay.
For now, so I can focus on the music side of things.
Yeah.
And definitely we have big plans with Black and White. You know, we want to grow. We're growing in a pretty good tempo, and we want to, you know, we're aiming to have parties once a month.
Once a month?
Yeah.
What is it at the moment?
It's pretty much, it's been always like that.
Yeah, okay.
But we were kind of like trying to find the home base, like the venue we would still be at. So we had the anniversary of the Cruise Bar. We have party there in a couple of weeks again.
Okay.
So we're kind of, you know, nothing's really decided yet, but, you know, like we're working with them really closely. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
And of course we want to have international headliners as well, and bring the brand to, I don't know, to Melbourne, to Perth, and you know, in a couple of years, you know, we would like to have gigs maybe in Europe somewhere under the brand. So
no, that's awesome.
We spend, you know, like we work on it every day, and it's great because we all share the passion for it, and we want the brand to grow all the time, and so we're putting a lot of work and effort into it.
No, that's awesome. That's fascinating as well. It's very encouraging because it's good to sort of see that there's people out there that sort of want to progress the scene and work on it and make it better. And I think, what you guys are doing in Black and White is pretty awesome as well. Yeah. And obviously you said you want to move it to sort of Melbourne and then Europe, which would be awesome. But
yeah, you know, sky's the limit.
Yeah, of course. But do you see yourself going back to Europe, or do you sort of want to stick to sort of Australia?
Right now, like my feeling is that I want to stay, and we'll see what happens in a couple of years.
Yeah.
You know? But the plan, if you ask me, like if I want to be here in 5 years, I would say yes.
You want to? Yeah, okay, that's awesome. Yeah. But obviously, progressing Black and White with that, progressing yourself as your own personal DJ brand. So that's very fascinating. Very, again, I said, encouraging to hear that there's so many, because obviously the last episode I had Luke and he was talking about he wants to progress the scene and he's got a bit of a different genre. Yeah. So I think it's good to see that there's such a diverse range. And I think, you know, Black and White could be leading that, you know, melodic. Is it only melodic and deep?
We're pretty much a techno brand. So we're focusing on techno, but we're open to any progressive genres, even, you know, because with the rooftop parties, we're pretty much starting midday. So it goes for 15 hours. So we're starting with like deep house, you know, progressive house, and going through melodic techno and finishing like with hard techno as well. So, but when we have to like stick to one genre, we're still a techno brand, and if the party will be shorter, it will be mainly techno. Okay.
You just mentioned that they're 15-hour parties, so you start midday and finish at like 3 or 4?
Yeah, finish at 3 o'clock, yeah.
How is it set, like sort of managing a 15-hour party or setting up a 15-hour party? Because I'd imagine that'd be a lot of work.
Yeah, it's like there's a lot of preparation that goes even before you throw in an event like that. You need to, of course, book all the DJs. You know, there's a lot of them on that list. When it comes to 15-hour party, you have like 12 DJs there, and of course, you need to plan all the equipment, all the sound. You know, everything needs to be arranged with the venue. You need your decorations. So there's a lot of prep going on, and of course, and early morning you need to be there, set everything up, and then just overlook the whole party. You know, you need to like always be focused if something goes wrong or you need to sort some issue or something. You know, you always need to be there, and of course then you have to play as well, so you need to kind of like transition into focus mode and of the entertainer as well. And then you need to shut it down at the end. So it was really hectic, crazy day.
So do you run for 15-hour parties like frequently, or you just ran it once so far?
It was just the first one for the anniversary there, because it was our first time at the cruise bar. And but yeah, it was kind of model that we really enjoyed, because we have that philosophy as a Black and White, that we have the motto that says more than just music. Yeah, you know. Awesome. So we're giving a chance also to new DJs. For the previous party and for this one, we ran a DJ contest.
Okay.
So we pretty much, you know, posted on our socials that, you know, like, we give a chance to a DJ who maybe doesn't have gigs, or, you know, just want to pretty much just play in public. And yeah, we got, you know, almost like 40 like sets.
Oh, wow.
I think in a week time. We ran it for a week.
Yeah.
You know, people just say, yeah, you know, this is my name, you know, I play this kind of style, you know, thanks for the opportunity. And like, it's really nice to help out the community as well and give a chance to someone who's maybe struggling to get gigs, because it's really tough, you know, as you said, like, there's so many DJs.
Yeah, it's very competitive.
So competitive, and everyone is a DJ these days. Everyone wants to play, everyone want to try how it is, because it's so easy, so accessible.
Yeah, of course.
So so that's what we're doing, you know. So we give like the first slot to a new DJ, which is really fun. And it's a completely different vibe, you know, when you're there. Also in the middle of the day, you have the sunset, you have the golden hour, and you have the chill music. It's not really just rave, you know, people can really enjoy there. We had some, you know, some fruit bowls there as well. So, you know, like, we're just really trying to just talk with everyone who's coming. We have like the strong base is international with Black and White.
Okay.
It's because it's built by internationals, for internationals pretty much. So we advertise in backpackers, like hostels, for example.
Right.
And we're just trying to bring everyone who can be, you know, kind of lost in Sydney without like the home and family here. It's kind of like connect with us, you know, with the music that you love, and just party with us.
No, that's
what we're trying to do.
No, that's awesome. Like, I didn't even know that at all. But it's like, I just, obviously you see these events and you think, oh, it's just a techno event. But as you said, it does sound like it's a lot more than music, which I think is literally fits Black and White perfectly from what you've just described.
It's, the brand is old only 1 year, you know, so it's we can't say that we have the following like Sash, for example. But
yeah, of course. No, but that's, I think it's time. I think that your purpose, and I think your goal and your motivation is awesome. Like, you know, you have the competition, and obviously you've only been for a year. How have you sort of seen it grow in the year that you've sort of been a DJ now, obviously a resident of it, and now a partner, I assume. So how have you sort of seen it grow in the last year? And are you know, does that motivate you for the future?
Yeah, of course, because we, just by judging at the attendance of the events and the growth on the social media followings, you can tell, like, okay, we're doing it well, we're doing it good. And after the parties, you know, when we have spike in followers and people comment, people text you like, oh, really good event, you know. At the end of the event, you know, they will shake your hand and tell, like, yeah, it was really good, you know, we had really, you know, nice time. We traveled from Canberra, for example.
Oh, wow.
We had people like that on, I think, 2 events before.
Oh, that's awesome.
And, you know, like, yeah, we just came to Sydney and, you know, we picked this event, and like, it was a good choice. So that's really what, you know, keeps you going and gives you the motivation. And it's like, yeah, you know, like, we're probably doing it well. We need to, you know, keep going, because people expect another events, you know, people want to go back. So it's also, you know, a lot of responsibility.
No, of course. And obviously, you told me before that you're still working full time and you're doing this on the side. Yeah. Obviously, the goal is to get it full time.
Well, that's definitely, you know, a long road. I don't think it's really possible without producing your own stuff and maybe doing like more international stuff as well.
Yeah.
So, but we'll see. We'll see, you know. You never know where it's going to get you.
Yeah, of course. But again, do you sort of see yourself staying true to music and producing, or would you sort of go towards more like event organization and obviously building black and white? Because as you said, you play at black and white as well.
Yeah.
But would you sort of work more on the event organization side or more on like your own personal DJing producing side of it?
It's a definitely new experience because I've never had experience with the event planning and all the organization that's behind it. So it's definitely a good experience.
Yeah.
And I like doing it.
Yeah.
But like the true passion that I have is the music, and that's really what I want to do in the future, what I want to improve my skills in. And I definitely like I have all my my vision board at home, like the plans. I want to release a couple songs this year, so
awesome.
That takes a lot of time. It's like production is way harder than DJing in my opinion. There's so many things that just go into it, and really takes a deeper commitment, and it takes definitely a longer time.
Yeah.
So that's that's really the fulfillment that I found in my life, and that's what really keeps me going, the music side of things.
The music side of thing.
If I would need to pick one of those two things, it would be the DJing. But I like doing this as well. But we'll see.
And I guess you said it's a new experience. How you sort of found yourself? What have you learnt from sort of organizing these events and sort of putting on these 15-hour parties?
Yeah.
Sort of what have you learnt?
That's definitely a stressful thing to do.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
Yeah, it's there's just so many things, especially about the marketing side of things. You need the flyers, you need the promotion, and we're all just kind of learning on the go.
Yeah,
because none of us has really had any experience with throwing events for many years and just has the right answers for everything. So we all kind of working on that together, and there's just so many things that we learned even with couple events.
Has anything like sort of gone to shit? Has anything that happened that you sort of like look back on and think that you've learned from like a mistake or anything like that? Or
yeah, we had definitely funny thing happen at the anniversary.
Oh really?
Yeah, but we kind of sorted it out real fast, I would say.
Yeah.
So we pretty much you can have the party only till midnight on the rooftop.
Yeah.
Like the noise regulations and stuff. So the last 3 hours we were supposed to like move inside, and we had the stage set up there and everything. But when we plugged everything in for the second stage, and I believe there was some even water leak on the circuit, and we just pretty much fried the whole top floor.
Oh no.
But luckily the cruise bar has 3 levels, so,
right.
But we had 300 people there at midnight. They were just going because it was right after Barbudo, the headliner we had.
Okay.
And everyone was like, okay, more music. We just want to keep going. And we're like, okay, what are we gonna do? So we just grabbed all the speakers, all the equipment, and just ran downstairs and just took everyone. Let's just go one level down, and we quickly set it up, everything there. We had like probably maybe 20 minutes like quiet time. So we definitely lost a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Like we can't be surprised that they left, but we managed to pull it off, and we saved the night.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So that's something. There's you can't really predict these things to happen. So you just need to stay focused and like, okay, what are we gonna do? You have heaps of people just waiting for party, and we need to save the night.
that would have been stressful, I'd imagine, because obviously the 20-minute quiet time at midnight, I'm sure no one wants that. But no, it's good that you sort of
but other people are willing to help. That's what I love about Sydney, from the community, like other DJs, and like, okay, we need these cables, we need to plug this in here, test this out, and that's really what's great about the Sydney community when it comes to DJs, and we kind of like on the same boat.
Yeah. So, no, that's sick. So you had like people in the crowd helping you.
Yeah, it wasn't just us, just putting it together. Everyone was just giving ideas. So.
That would have been sick. That would have been very, I guess, encouraging and motivating the people. Obviously, I'm sure someone in the crowd would have had obviously music experience as well. So it sort of helped you out with that sort of stuff. That's cool. Anything else that sort of happened that you remember, or was that sort of like your most vivid memory? Obviously, it's very recent.
It's very recent.
Yeah, but anything else, or that one sort of comes to mind at first?
That's just comes to my mind,
Yeah,
right
no,
now, that's like funny thing that happened recently.
Yeah, and I guess you all sort of laughed about it afterwards, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
it would have been stressful at the time.
It was like a huge size of relief and high fives, and when you saw the party going, people dancing, like we're literally just standing there for 15 minutes afterwards, just give me a drink, like, what happened now?
Yeah. But I said, yeah, you all laughed about it later on. So,
yeah,
but I imagine in the moment, it would have felt like the longest 20 minutes of your life.
Oh, definitely, definitely.
Yeah.
And just don't panic, just stay focused. Okay.
Yeah, and that water leak sort of what came from just a random leak.
Yeah, I don't know. Like we talk about the venue about it a little bit later. It's been all been sorted out afterwards, but
No, it's good that it got sorted, but yeah, that would have been a learning curve.
Yeah.
But look, you managed, and you probably put in a good event. It was obviously a good event afterwards.
Yeah,
so
that's definitely
awesome.
Good feedback afterwards. So
yeah, no, that's awesome. And do you plan on doing these 15-hour parties in the future, or is it too much stress?
Like we like that.
You like that?
We like that 15-hour kind of vibe. We'll see if that's what the venue wants as well, and we will evolve. Because we used to be just in those, I don't know, like Club Fusion in King's Cross or just Lansdowne Hotel, and just pretty much all these random venues just throwing gigs because like Sydney doesn't really have like a club for these kind of underground events where you would go, so you always need to find a venue or rent like an office space, a warehouse in Merrickville or Alexandria to throw a party in. So and every party is different, if you don't have the home base, it's always different. We had really good event for the Halloween. It was in one of the warehouses like that, It was a great turn up there as well.
Black and white ran a like a Halloween warehouse event.
Yeah.
Was it like a 15-hour party or that was sort of like...
No, it was like a standard from, I don't know, from like 9 p.m. to like 5 a.m, So like the standard night event.
Yeah, of course.
But, everyone turned up in costumes. It was like super fun.
Yeah, I imagine. I guess sort of on that, how do you sort of balance... Because I guess you sort of have 3 jobs now. You have your, obviously, full-time job that you just do Monday to Friday. You're DJing, and then obviously that black and white. How do you... I'd imagine you'd be busy for 7 days a week. How do you manage all 3 of those?
Days are definitely not long enough, And I'm also that kind of person that I'm not really a morning type of person.
Right.
So I don't really wake up too early to do lots of stuff in the morning. And like during the day, you have the WhatsApp group just pumping from black and white guys. Okay, ideas. Okay, we should do this today. This is what we have to do, and kind of juggling, throughout the day, both jobs at the same time. And in the afternoon, okay, I wanted to, download this music. I wanted to, play a little, and I don't know, I wanted to study production, wanted to, produce more, and there's just so many things, and you also want to see your friends or go out somewhere. And
I was going to ask that as well.
Or just, just put your legs up and watch Netflix for 5 minutes, and then it's already midnight. And
and then the next day it's all over again.
Exactly.
So do you find it difficult to sort of manage, or are you sort of at the moment just managing it?
Well, it's super fun, but of course there's sometimes you're like, okay, I've been just, it's 10 p.m. I haven't really had any break on anything, and sometimes I feel like that the progression I want to make when it comes to production, I'm not really putting that much time and effort into it, because what I learned with just doing it for a couple of months and just creating a couple, I wouldn't even call them tracks, but maybe projects that I have, you really need to get in that focus mode.
Yeah, the zone.
You can't really just, okay, I was just doing these 5 things and I'm just going to open Ableton and I'm going to produce now, because I'm literally staring at the screen and I have no idea what I'm doing, for 20 minutes. You literally need to put your phone away. Ideally, you can't have anyone else in the room, and you just need to be laser focused.
Yeah. Have you ever been in that sort of focus mode before, where you sort of...
It happened, maybe once or twice really, when I was like, okay, I've been doing this for maybe like 2-3 hours, but it really takes time. I don't know. I think it's like, I don't know what's the scientific explanation behind it, but it takes like, I don't know, 15 minutes maybe of like focus work to really get into the zone.
Yeah. Okay.
And, in this day and age when you have the phone constantly there, you always get some notification, something always disturbs you, and you're never really in a focus mode. Yeah, no, yeah. Obviously, I feel like music production, people make it out to look a lot easier than I assume it is. There's a lot of art, a lot of engineering behind it, and there's a lot of work you need to do on your own, but you also need the help, external help. I have a couple of friends. They're helping me, they're producing mainly Les Strange. who's from Black Noir.
Okay.
So he's a really talented guy. Like he's giving me lots of insights.
Okay, that's good.
So you just need the people around you to boost you and to help you moving forward. But yeah, definitely moving forward, I would prefer to have my own studio somewhere, probably ideally outside of the apartment.
Oh, the apartment, yeah.
Where you can just literally close yourself, turn off your phone and just be in the dungeon and just work.
yeah, of course.
Without any distractions.
Yeah, I guess I was going to ask, you said that, you've got there's a lot to it. It's not just as simple as it may seem. Do you sort of see your, I guess, prior music knowledge from being, a kid, and as you said, you had a bit of music knowledge growing up.
Yeah.
Has that sort of helped you with your production, or is it like a completely different beast to like just what you already know?
It definitely helped.
Yeah.
Definitely the background helps because you understand, the keyboard, you understand, the scales a little bit. So it's something, I don't know how long it would take, for you to learn if you had no experience.
Yeah.
So I just kind of just skipped this stage.
Yeah, skipped, I guess, but like you don't have to relearn it.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that's good though, because it sort of gives you sort of, I guess, skip the I guess the boring stuff in a way. To some it might be, to some it may not be. But no, that's good that you sort of have that musical background and you're able to sort of. I'm excited to see what you're able to produce in the future. Because obviously I've seen some of your sets on Instagram and stuff like that. I've listened to a bit on SoundCloud, and I think it'd be awesome to sort of hear some music from you.
Yeah, thanks.
And it would be, because I think it's fascinating when people produce music, because just from this conversation, I think I've realized it's a lot more difficult. So you had the appreciation for when that people do release music.
It's definitely easy to just give up, you know, when you're not progressing, because you're thinking, okay, is there really, do you need to be talented or not? Is talent a myth? We don't really know. But there's always so many things to learn. Like when I've seen all YouTube videos, if I did all the online courses about production and I'm still unable to do it, maybe then I'll just have to tell to myself, okay, maybe this is not something that I'm able to do. This is not really my skill set.
No, it's good that you're sort of motivated, and plus you have Black and White to fall on your partnership. So I feel like you're doing a pretty good job in that as well. So
there's definitely a lot of things to do, and I'm definitely not bored.
Yeah, of course, that's good, and you obviously have it's very very forward looking. So into the future,
it's exciting, really.
Yeah, no, it's very exciting. I think obviously I've gotten a lot of information out of you. Very interesting. Obviously your story and how you came to Sydney and what you're able to achieve at the moment. I think it's super inspiring. And I think anyone listening that sort of is in that same situation as you is definitely going to be motivated from just listening to this.
Yeah.
Obviously what you've been able to achieve since you've come to Sydney in it's only been about 3 years, but with lockdown it's probably been like 2?
Yeah, or a year and a half.
Yeah, with lockdown it's a year and a half too. So it's super inspiring that you've basically been able to achieve all of that. And I think on that note, I think we'll probably end the episode there. It's been awesome. It's been awesome to chat to you. Obviously, thank you for coming in, sharing
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, sharing your insights, sharing your experiences, which are very, I guess, unique and very inspiring, as I said. But if you guys want to follow Patrik on Instagram, it's at
Papco_DJ.
At Papco_DJ. Make sure you follow him. Follow Black and White as well, because they seem like they have some awesome events planned. And obviously Patrik wants to release music this year, so definitely keep an eye out on that. If you like the podcast, make sure you follow and subscribe on all the socials. But other than that, I will see you guys in the next episode. Thank you very much.